The power of the confusion will delay the solution. Okay. The relationship between confusion and solution is like this. What? The power of the confusion will determine the arrival of the solution. Okay. The power of the confusion will also delay the arrival of a solution. Why? Because confusion always occupies the mind. Right? It is more a quantitative problem than a qualitative one. So it will occupy your mind. So the mind is like this. Confusion occupies 1/3, 2/3. If the confusion occupies 2/3 of your mind, no solution is possible. Solution is possible only when it comes to Indian equity standard 51 to 49. Right? That is why people who are very confused, even though you give them the best solution, they don't take it because the mind won't take it. Okay? So the relationship is the power of the confusion, then later the solution. That is why Bala says, whenever mind is very confused, it refuses to seek a solution even though it keeps on asking. Confusion இருக்குன்னு சொல்லுது ஆனா solution எடுத்துக்காது மைண்ட் எடுத்துக்காத reason என்னன்னா the confusion is so powerful, right? It needs an overwhelming spiritual force to hit it out. Okay, that's how you must understand. புரியுதா? அப்புறம்
So the confusion like that not automatically we can arrive at the solution.
Yes, that's why lesser the confusions, better. Never develop confusion. Always try to lessen. Confusion is generally more a occupancy of the mind. It occupies space. So confusion valare it spread and occupy. Mind ரொம்பவும் confusion occupy பண்ணிடுச்சுனா there will be very little of your mind available for the solution. Okay. தூங்குடு ஒரு சாப்பிட்டுமா இல்லைனா என்னடா கொடுத்துடுறியா சரி clear? Better. செல்ஃப் டெவலப்மெண்ட் தான் வருது ஆண்டி புராணா வரமாட்டேன் சென்னையில செல்ஃப் டெவலப்மெண்ட் எக்ஸாம்பிள் புராணா கொடுப்போம் சூப்பரா வரும் இங்க செல்ஃப் டெவலப்மெண்டோட ஸ்டாம் போட்டுருவோம் சுவாமி பார்ப்போம் அப்புறம் என்னமா chaos. Chaos na confusion kanna pinna அர்த்தம். Okay. அப்படி. Chaotic na uncontrollable னு அர்த்தம். Actually. Okay. Country in chaos அப்படினா uncontrollable னு அர்த்தம். அப்புறம் நேத்து நைட் எல்லா டவுட்டும் கிளியரா வேற
stool of stagnation
stool of stagnation ஸ்டூல் போட்டா என்ன பண்ணுவா ஸ்டூல் போட்டா என்ன பண்ணுவா ஸ்டூல் எதுக்கு போட்டுக்கிற உட்காந்துட்ட ஸ்டாக்னேஷன் என்ன ஒரே இடத்துல கடக்கிறது ஸ்டூல் போட்டு மொத்தம் உட்காண்டான்னா அப்படின்னு கன்ஃபியூஷன் வச்சுட்டே இருந்தோம்னா ஸ்டாக்னேஷன் மாதிரி ஆயிடும் ஸ்டாக்னன்ட் வாட்டர் என்ன பண்ணுது இட் பிரீட்ஸ் மஸ்கிட்டோஸ் சென்ஸ் அவுட் இன்ஃபெக்ஷன் அதே மாதிரி ஸ்டாக்னன்ட் மைண்ட் பிரீட் இன்ஃபெக்ஷன் ஜெனரலி தே பிரீட் காசிப் அதுதான் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் வந்து ஐடியலாவே இருக்கக்கூடாது ஆமா யாருமே ஒரு சின்மயானந்தாக அரண் ஐடியலா இருந்தா பிடிக்காது ரைட் when Swamiji walks somebody is idle na they got it that day okay Rajani sir kuda யாராவது ஐடியலா இருந்தா ஏதாவது ஒரு ஒர்க் கொடுப்பான் ஷூட்டிங்ல. யாராவது ஐடியலா உட்காண்டா அவருக்கு பிடிக்காது. சும்மாவான இல்லைன்னா மேட்ச் பாக்ஸ் எல்லாம் போடுவான். Rajini tends to smoke a lot. So he keep throwing match box, keep throwing this to yourself ன்னு சொல்லுவார். நான் வர வரைக்கும் இப்படி கேட்ச் போட்டு பிடிச்சிட்டு சும்மா இருக்க கூடாது. ஏன்னா stagnant minds infect. Generally they do a lot of unwanted gossip. அதான் கன்ஃபியூஷன் வந்து யார்கிட்ட டிஸ்கஸ் பண்றேன்னு, எதுக்கு பண்றேன்னு, பொது போகாம பண்றியா, கன்ஃபியூஷன் போகணும்னு பண்றியா? கன்ஃபியூஷன் போகணும்னா சூப்பரா போயிடும். பொழுது போகாம பண்ணினா அவன் தானே ஒண்ணு போட்டு என்ன சொல்லு, அவன் கதையில இருந்து ஒண்ணு எடுத்து உனக்கு ஜாயிண்ட் போட்டு கொடுப்பான். சரியா? கேர்ஃபுல்லா.
And also after that person who is capable of solving.
Yes. First two things, not only his capability, whether you are ready to take his solution. First, whether you really will listen to them, then whether they are capable to offer. If both are clear, then you can. Otherwise, don't waste your time, also theirs.
Question the questioning. Whether you're serious or
not. See, asking question is very easy. Now, whether you are really serious for an answer, that does not happen just because you have a question. Having a question is one thing. Seeking an answer is totally another. Although question and answer are grammatically connected. யாரா எந்த கொஸ்டினுக்கும் ஒரு ஆன்சர் வரணும் ரூல். ஆனா கேள்வி கேட்கறவங்க பதில் எதிர்பார்க்கறானா இல்லையே? இல்ல, கேள்வி நம்ம நிறைய மேட்டர் சும்மா கேட்கிறோம். So the question you ask is one thing. Wanting an answer to solve the question is totally another. Okay? If you really want an answer, then the question will get solved under the sun. Okay? Sure. You know, the whole creation is like that. Right? Ishwara, the baby ke ella solli da amshirukam. Baby is very clear who is mummy, daddy, 2 plus 2 what, miss every ella, she is very clear. So nowhere is ignorance continuity in creation. Right? The only thing is man has been given a choice to be ignorant. But நீ ignorant ஆகுதுன்னு ஈஸ்வரா மேல போடக்கூடாது. Okay? So creation is tuned towards learning. So if you want to learn, you can learn anywhere. There's no good school, bad school. Miss it. No school is very good, no school is very bad. Let me see. Everywhere teachers are mixture only. No? You are very interested. Yeah, correct. That's a good term. Infrastructure difference இருக்கும். But learning doesn't stop because the teacher doesn't teach. அதான் சும்மா. So learning can happen. சரியா? Right. We've already learned that the mind is first a learner and then only a thinker, right? Mind's thinking is always dependent on its learning. The more the mind learns, the more clearly and purposefully it can think. Okay? Suppose you think that the mind is only a thinker, then where is the material for the mind to think? So the mind is first a learner and then only a thinker. The thinking power of the mind will be totally dependent on what it has learned. Okay? If the learning is very less, thinking will be less. If the learning is erroneous, thinking will be confusion. Right? So less learning will always give only less thinking. Our problem is we want to learn less and think more. Right? We want to learn incompletely and want to think powerfully. How will it work? That is the problem. Confusions come only when there is no adequate learning to answer a question. Okay? So learning will determine your thinking. If learning is strong, thinking is very powerful, quick, and purposeful. Okay? So decision making is not just the power to decide, it is to understand that each task has a minimum time. Right? Every job has a minimum time, and if you don't give that, you can't do that job. Right? And if you give too much, again, it's a waste of that job. Right? So, in order to become very decisive, the first thing is to understand, give necessary time to everything you do. Okay? If necessary time is given, the remaining time can be used for something is understood. By giving right time for each action, you are allowing the mind to become fine tuned. Right? You start giving the mind stronger focus. As a result, what? The mind becomes sharper and also improves its ability. Okay? So, whatever be the daily action, brushing teeth, drinking coffee, taking a bath, to give the necessary time, the mind is now being empowered to use time more effectively. Okay? Improving the overall effectivity of the mind is more important than the jobs that you do. Right? You mustn't think, oh, brushing teeth is not a big thing. No. The mind looks at it as an action. Isn't it? The mind now wants to know how long you're going to brush. If you brush purposefully and finish it, then the mind has now got a report what? Purposeful brushing. This is more important for the mind's effectivity to improve than the job that brushing is a daily thing. Okay? So, whatever be your daily job, the mind's effectivity will be determined by the time you give. And that is what is going to improve your decision making. Right? So, decision making is not to decide fast, quick, or anything. It is to give right time for each action, nothing more, nothing less. Right? If such a strategy is given to the mind and you start following, the mind then starts to improve its productivity overall. Then you read well, you also work well, you talk well. All that happens because the mind now knows what to give what. Okay? So understand that the mind is first a learner and then only a thinker. If you don't give it enough material to learn, it can't think. That is why in the exam hall, all students look up on the wall. What is there on the wall? Only whitewash. Right? And most mark sheets are only that. Isn't it? Okay? So, why do students keep on gaping here and there? Means there is no enough learning. Isn't it? Because enough learning is not there, thinking is not happening. If you don't think, solutions don't come. So problems don't get answered. You come back to the same hall again after 4 months. Okay? So understand mind is first a learner and then only a thinker. Give it material to learn, it will think well. Deny material, right? You can't do your business with the mind. Okay? Mind won't take any business deal like less work, more result. less learning, more thinking, all this mind won't take. Mind will always tell, learning will determine thinking. Okay? Working will determine result. Okay? Mind won't come for any compromise because it is not your creation. Mind is nature's creation, so it cannot be pressured or not. Right? So never try your tricks or stunts with the mind. Learn the mind's way of functioning. If you go with it, then you will succeed. If you try to cut it through, right, only your life gets shortcuts, not the mind. Okay? So mind is fundamentally a learner, then only a thinker. Learn to think. Mind is a natural product. It is a product of nature. Like your hair, right? Hair is nature's product. You cannot do any business with it. Okay? If you want to treat your hair and keep it well, you're supposed to go the way nature has been going with your hair. Right? So you'll have to know what is the hair texture, how is it structured, and then only you treat it. Isn't it? So like your hair, like your body, mind also is a product of nature. You don't do any commercial business with it because you cannot change your mind just because you don't like something. Similarly, you can't change anything in your hair. You may restyle it, you can cut it, but regarding the texture and structure, you can't do anything, isn't it? Till you know how the hair is naturally placed, right? So, if mind is also a product of nature, the best way to deal with it is to go along with it. Okay? Mind will not take any snapshots, it will not take any intuition, pressure, instinctive orders, anything. Okay? No instinct business with the mind. Instinct means what? This minute you want something to do and push the mind. No. Like when exam comes, suddenly you want the mind to study throughout the night. Possible? No. Isn't it? So instinctively, mind won't take orders, right? Unless you give it very naturally. And naturally to give it is to do nature-based actions rightly. What? Like brushing teeth, nature-based action, isn't it? You have to use only small brush. You cannot tell I will use paintbrush. Isn't it? So brushing is a natural based action, eating, sleeping, all this is nature based. If you do this well within a given time, then the mind does what? It begins to cooperate, it now begins to open up. Then that mind will help you grow faster in life, right? So any other attempt to cut through the mind or impose anything heavily on it will never work because mind is not your product, it is a product of nature given to you. You can use it or abuse it. That's another thing. But you don't create your own mind or anything. Mind is a product of nature. Learn to be natural with it, then growth will be natural. Okay? Confusion. Mind is a living phenomena. It is a living thing. Okay? So what you give to your mind, the mind is going to hold and then put it to follow. Okay? Now, when you give your mind lot of laziness, self-doubt and confusion, the mind takes everything and puts it to action. Okay? Now suddenly, when you tell your mind, no more confusions or anything, what will the mind do? It won't do anything. It will hold on to all the confusions you have given all these years. Okay? So whenever a man is very lazy, right, has a lot of unwanted doubt, this has already gone into his mind. Now suppose you give him a good solution, he won't take it because His laziness and doubt, his wanting to escape is much stronger. Okay? புரியுதா? Column பண்ணிக்கணும். Inside him what he has given? Laziness, self-doubt, carelessness, don't want responsibility, all that he has given. Now he has one problem. When he comes to you, you give a good solution, right? But the problem is, when you give a good solution, he does not take it, isn't it? Because already his mind is filled with what? All these things, isn't it? So these things don't want this solution because this solution will now displace these things. Clear? So this is stronger than this. Because this is stronger than this, even though you give the best solution, the inner mind will tell that won't work, ask someone. So he again asks another person. So whatever solution you give, solution will not fit laziness, isn't it? Solution will not fit carelessness. It won't fit irresponsibility. So no solution will fit this mind because this mind does not want solution. Okay? Then why is the mind asking Niketina? It does not want the problem also. It does not want the problem that is there. That is why it is asking. But it does not want the solution also because it doesn't want to give up laziness. Right? So because it doesn't want the problem, it keeps on asking, "Unakku theriyuma? Do you know this?" But when you give a good solution, the mind doesn't take it because, "Appa, ivlo effort for this, don't want." So, mind doesn't want problem, it keeps on asking. Mind doesn't want solution, keeps on asking. What remains is laziness. Okay? So what you give your mind, which you have been giving continuously. Okay? Every day lazy, every day careless becomes what? Lazy mind, careless mind. Now suddenly you want the mind to be very decisive, means where is the mind? There is no space. Space already full with laziness, carelessness, irresponsibility, uselessness, etc. That is the second paragraph where people keep on asking the same question repeatedly to many people, but still have not solved or changed. Okay? So confusions are always self-made, right? Only technologically sometimes somebody tells you a wrong technology. Otherwise, in your mind, confusions are absolutely only yours. Laziness is yours. Carelessness, yours. Okay? Irresponsibility, yours. So this, when it settles in your mind, will not immediately take any solution because solution is not laziness, isn't it? The problem is because of laziness. So solution cannot be another laziness. So the lazy mind doesn't want anti-lazy solution. Irresponsible mind does not want responsible solution. So it tries to keep on asking. Perhaps if it gets the lazy solution, it will take. But no solution in the world is lazy. Okay? Amma. Even laziness is actually not lazy. Why? If you want to sleep, you'll have to get up and put your bed. Isn't it? And once you become a little lazy, you'll have to get up and put your bed. Why? On the floor you don't like to sleep. Okay? So man doesn't want solutions because it is against what he has been giving his mind every day. Okay?